Hey everybody, happy Monday. Hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. Today is a really exciting day because we get to move away from our fractions unit into a new unit called geometry. So whenever you look at third grade standards, let me pull this up. Here's all your third grade mathematical standards. Okay, there's one just for geometry. And when you click that, it sends you to two different main things that you need to know. Okay, there's geometry standard number 1, then there's geometry standard number 2. We're going to actually start with number 2 because when I was reading them, I felt like number 2 we had a better basis to go off of since we're coming right off of fractions. And I just felt like it would probably be more developmentally appropriate for you guys. So, what does that entitle? It says partitioning shapes into parts with equal areas. Express the area of each part as a unit fraction of the whole. Well, perfect. Geometry, fractions, it goes hand in hand. Honestly, looking at this and diving into what you need to know, it's going to be really easy, and it's a great way to start off our Monday. It's a great way to start off our unit. So let's go ahead and get started. First, you're going to need to know some key vocabulary. So what is geometry? Well, in third grade, geometry is the study of not only shapes, but it's the study of lines and angles. Okay, so that's what we're going to be looking at. We're going to look at different shapes. We're going to be looking at different angles, and we're going to be looking at different lines. Partitioning. What is partitioning, Miss Mallory? I heard that big fancy word whenever we were looking at the standards. Partitioning means to put into equal parts. So if you remember when we started our fraction unit, we talked about, okay, when you draw this out and you represent this fraction, make sure that it is in equal parts. Well, that's exactly what we're going to be looking at today. And then the whole. We've talked about the whole a million times, but that's really going to come into play tomorrow because you're going to have to visualize what the whole looks like. Okay, so here's some typical questions that you're going to be asked, and we're just going to kind of go over them together to get us started with this unit. The first question that goes with the geometry unit would be, what fraction of the total area of the rectangle does the shaded part represent? So what that means is you'll have some questions. Let me pull up my iPad. My pen keeps going dead. So you'll have some options, and this would be like one of your questions. And the rectangle might look like this, and it might have one part shaded. All this is asking is what part of the rectangle is shaded, which is exactly what we did at the beginning of our fraction unit. So that you know that the fraction that is shaded would be 1/4. You know this because the shaded area becomes your numerator, and how many you have total that represent your whole becomes your denominator. So this is the type of stuff that they want you to know in geometry. You're thinking, man, I've got this under control. You really do. And that's why we're just going to be looking at it today. Let's do another example. What if it was long and skinny? Okay, perfect. And then it shaded this one, and then it shaded this one, shaded this one. Okay. So here we know that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts. Okay, so that should automatically become our denominator. And then the shaded part, we need to count 1, 2, 3. So your answer would be 3/6 or 1/2. Feeling pretty good about that? I feel pretty good about that. Let's move on to the next part. So another question that you might be asked is which shape shows blank shaded? Now I put blank because I'm just going to put in a bunch of different fractions, and then I'm going to give you some options, and you have to be able to identify which one of those shapes is shaded. Okay, so if I said which shape shows 1/4 shaded, and these were your 3 different options. Now let's make 4 different options. Okay, so here's your 4 options. So let's look at them. You have option number 1. Well, this is broken into thirds, so this cannot be it. Okay, then we have option number 2. This is broken into sixths, so this can't be it. Now this one is broken into fourths, but you have to pay attention to what part is shaded. Okay, so this is 3/4 shaded, but 1/4 unshaded. So it's asking about the shaded part, so this does not count. Okay, so the correct answer would be the last one. Let's do one more example of that. What if it asks which shape shows 1/2 shaded? And these were your options. Ooh, no, let's change this one because I've seen this. They try to trick you with this one. Okay, so here's an option. Here's an option. Here's an option. And here's an option. Okay. Oh, I don't know why that didn't shade. There we go. Oh, and why isn't this shading? Okay, so on my computer, I see what I see on my iPad. Perfect. Okay, so option 1. This looks like half. Okay, we'll stick with that one. Option number 2, we have 3/4 shaded, so we know that that can't be it. Option number 3, we have 1/4 shaded, so that can't be it. Now, here, this is broken into, I don't know if you can tell. Let me see if I can outline it better in blue. This is broken into 2 parts, so don't let that trick you. It's asking 1/2 shaded. Look, they broke this into 2 different parts, but they're not equal. They shaded a whole lot more than they have unshaded. So that does not represent 1/2. So do not let that trick you. Even though they break it into 2 different parts, it has to be 2 equal parts. So your best option would be this one right here, number 1. Okay, so that's really all that I have for you guys on this Monday. So you're wondering what's next? What are we going to be learning about next? Well, tomorrow on NTI Day 20, we're actually going to be reviewing from today. And then I'm going to draw, here, I'll give you an example. I might draw, okay, here, this is 1/3. Which shape represents the whole? And it'll have different shapes over here. And you have to decide which one of those is the whole. So that's what we're going to be looking at tomorrow. Okay, and then after that, we're going to move on to the geometry standard number 1. Sound good? All right, so today you're going to get a green light and reflex. Then you're going to watch this video. This video is on Edpuzzle for the very fact of, I realize that a lot of you guys aren't watching videos, you're just taking quizzes. Well, Edpuzzle makes you answer questions as you go along. Okay, so make sure that you answer all the questions on Edpuzzle. That's how I can count your attendance. And then number 3 is you're going to take the Google Forms quiz. All right, I will see you guys tomorrow.